Hey everybody, welcome to Go Live with Glow. Happy Thursday. I hope you guys are ready for another amazing show. I have Mr. Stephen Powers, who is also a Morgan alumni. Go Bears. He's coming on tonight, talk about his current project that he's working on and other things that he's working on. He has an amazing book that I want you guys to hear about. Just wait for my guest to show up like I always do every single Thursday. So what's going on? While we wait for him to join, what is going on with everybody tonight? It's Friday Junior. I think I like doing this show on Thursday because it's like not in the middle of the week, not in the beginning, but like right before we get into the weekend. And I think I'm going to end this season in June and pick back up. Maybe, I don't know. I'll keep you guys posted because I have other projects in store. So while we're here, just kind of like wait for the room to get warmed up. Well, wait for the live to get warm because it's not really a room. It feels like it should be a chat room, right? So yeah, just wait for it to like pick up. Wait for everybody else to join. See, Kisses and Shay has joined us tonight. Hey y'all. How are you guys? And my guest is on time, y'all. Well, yeah, he's on time, so let me just go ahead and add him on in. Hey, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you great.
So I pronounced your name Steven. That's correct, right? That's the correct way to
Absolutely.
pronounce your name. You know, it could have been Stephen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It could have been
yeah,
Stephen, but
that's
I
good.
remember distinctly it being Steven. So how were you doing tonight? How was your day? It seems like you have probably had a busy day today.
Um, every day is busy for me, but I'm great. I can't complain.
And where are you located at right now? Are you still in Maryland?
Still in Baltimore. Still in Baltimore.
Are you originally from Baltimore?
Born and raised. Born and raised.
You know, I struggle with this, and I think I struggle with this for like the last. I think I first saw you because like I was giving everybody like a soft intro before you got on. Like
Okay.
you are definitely a Morgan Bear. You are definitely from Winter Morgan. But me and you never really spoke like that. But I always remember seeing you in passing, and I always struggle with the fact that I know y'all say he's from here, but I just honestly I don't believe you guys. I don't believe.
Oh,
I
why not?
don't because you don't sound anything like anyone. Are you from Maryland? Or are you from Baltimore?
I'm from Northeast Baltimore. Born and
No,
raised. I've been here
no,
all my life. I mean, I
no,
travel, but I'm
no.
Baltimore all my life. But you know, the funny thing is, I've had a lot of people tell me they didn't think I was from Baltimore because of the whole accent thing. But I mean, my mother was a teacher. I learned how to read before I started school. So a lot of these dudes don't really know how to read that well. So maybe, enunciating the words and all of that don't really, work out for some of them. But for
You,
me,
this is ruining me. Do you know that? Like a little bit. I'm like, is he? I'm like, a lot of us kind of like went to Morgan,
right,
stayed in Morgan, but everybody was really from like New York or whatever. I'm like, he's
right.
giving me Long Island. He's giving
Nah,
me Long Island. I don't know.
yeah, if it would have been like somewhere else that I would be. I don't,
Hmm. So born and raised in Baltimore. North, you said
absolutely.
Northeast. Lord have
Northeast Baltimore,
mercy.
yeah. Yeah, Northeast
And
Baltimore.
then you went to Morgan. What did you major in at Morgan?
I majored in business administration at Morgan.
Do you know that I was a business major as well? That means
That,
either A, I wasn't in class, or B, we didn't have the same classes together
no,
because I knew everybody in the business building.
well, that's where I know you from, but like we just didn't have classes together. That's the crazy thing. Like that's definitely where I know you from, though.
Oh my God, that is so fun. Like this is like mind blowing. Like everything is like thrown off. I'm like, he's giving. I don't. You know what it was? Maybe it was the DMX. Like you was a hardcore DMX fan. Maybe that. I'm telling
But
you, I
but you know what though?
swore.
Just like rap in general. But I got that when I was in school. Like I had braids and earrings and all of that back when I was in school.
I
And
remember you.
but but you know the funny thing is the only reason I got the earrings because Baltimore dudes wasn't doing it back then. And I got it to stand out from everybody here. But when I went to school, some people, if they didn't know, like people who knew me from Baltimore already knew, but other than that, people was like, "Oh, is he from somewhere else?" But no, I did that to stand out from everybody that was home.
You know what? I never held a long enough conversation to hear your accent come out. So, you know, if anything, probably acknowledged each other and kind of like kept it moving. I
Right,
think we was
right.
probably just in like different circles for the most
Yeah,
part. And it's just funny like how like life just come full circle and everything kind of like brings you right back to the same point. Cause like again, I'm struggling like, nah, he had to be like I never saw you with anybody from Maryland. I always saw you like people from like New York.
you wanna know why?
Why?
Because because even though I didn't go to school out of state, like it would kind of like limit me to just only hang around people that were from where I'm from. So I'm like, if I'm at a school that's like people from DC, PG, Philly, New York, I might as well make friends with them too. Like I already know the people from there. So that
You know
was my
that
whole philosophy.
your two
So
came out long. You know that, right?
I mean,
That two dragged.
listen. I'm from here, so you'll hear it every once in a while.
Okay,
But
I
I
never really heard of
definitely
that perspective though before. Like if I stay here in state, then I have a chance of actually meeting people from out of state.
right, right. Because I mean, I I won't say I know everybody, but I know a lot of people in the city just because I've been here all my life. But
Right.
I wanted to expand my horizon, so to speak.
You're absolutely right, because everybody that I met at school was from New York. I really didn't talk to a lot of people from other places. So you
So it was
actually
you. It wasn't me. It was you. That's what it was.
I didn't feel like I had anything in common with anybody from anywhere else. So I kind of just stuck to what I knew and just kind of just stayed in my own little circle. So what do you do for a living now? Like after college? Why Morgan and not Coppin? I think I already
Well,
know why, but
my mother went to Coppin, but actually, the question you really should ask is why Morgan and not Howard. And
Should
Howard,
I really wait a minute? First
well,
of all,
Howard was where I got accepted to. It was my first choice. Um, for us in Baltimore, we call Morgan the 13th grade because it's like you go from high school right to Morgan. It's like it never really changes much. But
mm,
the one thing I will say is like I'm kind of glad I didn't go anywhere else other than Morgan because it kind of like shaped me and made me who I was. I mean, yeah, I stayed in the city. I didn't get that on campus experience. I didn't get that going away to college experience, but everything else I wouldn't trade it in for the world.
right. So why did you come to Morgan and not Howard? Did you put that out there? Because I never talk about Howard. Like it's just like I love
Yeah.
Howard. I love everybody that go to Howard, but like Howard just feels like they're the only HBCU.
Honestly,
So,
we better than Howard though. Like just go walk around and look on the campus, you can tell. But
well, definitely we have a campus. They don't really have a campus, so we
right,
definitely outbeat
right.
them in that part. But why did you just
But
decide to stay at come to Morgan rather
I
than?
mean, we looking at like at that time 19,000 a year versus like I was paying like in-state tuition. I was paying like 4,500 a year.
Yeah.
So that was like, all right, a Honda Accord every year, a used Honda Accord every year to go there, or I can save my money and buy my own Honda Accords and still get a good education. So that's what made me go to Morgan.
So what do you do for a living now? Like what did life after Morgan look like for you?
Well, right now I'm a program analyst at SSA, and I've been there for since '07. So what's that like?
A long time.
Yeah. Wow, it's been a while.
A long
I'm looking.
time.
I think I'm almost pushing like 14 years or something like that. But
That's about right. You said
yeah.
2007?
Yep, '07. Yep. So
That's like 14 years.
right. So I've been doing that, but I mean, other than that, like, cause that's just my 9 to 5. But I've
And
been
what do you do
writing
outside of
children's
your
books.
9 to 5 book? Because I wanted to get into that as well. So you wrote this
Yeah.
book. Do you have the
hmm
book? Can we see the book?
Yes, absolutely. Let me grab it. Let me reach real quick and grab it. But I wrote 2 different books. It's a children's book series. It's called The Electrifying Adventures of Mr. Powers, and it is. This is volume 1 right here, if you can see, and this is volume 2, The Snack Attack. And it's basically the story of a single father that's also a superhero. And it's written in rhyme so the kids will have fun while they're reading it, but at the same time, it's a little lesson sprinkled in so the kids can kind of like take some real life situations and kind of like apply that to their actual situation.
Okay.
And it. Well, I guess I could get into how Morgan is the reason that I wrote this book.
Yeah, go
So
ahead.
so like my son, I graduated in '05.
Okay.
Graduated in May '05. My son was born in June of '05. And, you know, coming fresh out of college, that was like a culture shock to me. So I went from like having fun and being a senior at college to just being like a father. And then right after that, like pretty much since my son's been 3 months old, he's been with me. So
Okay.
I didn't have like the experience of going to happy hours and doing all of the stuff that like the young professionals do after you graduate and you get a good job and all of that. Like my happy hour was diaper hour. It was bottle hour.
Mm-hmm.
So the bottle service was me serving bottles to my kids. So
Right.
I kind of had that experience. I had a lot of other things that happened, but long story short, without getting into it, when we might get into it later,
No, you got to
I,
get
I,
into it because
I
we're here now. So just take us
yeah.
there. So why did you have your son for like since he was 3 months old?
Well, I mean,
Because we don't never
situation
really
with
hear this story. So right now, it's for
yeah.
you to champion it right now because
Okay,
you know us
okay,
single mothers, like single mom, blah blah blah. Never,
yeah.
rarely do you ever really, meet a man who says, I've been a single father. I've been an active single father for X
Right,
amount of years.
right. So my son will be 16 this summer.
Okay.
So since pretty much since he was 3 months old, he's been with me. Like situation with me and his mother didn't work out. Like I met his mother at Morgan. Like she didn't stay there for long. Like she was there for a
Okay.
little while, but I met his mother at Morgan. So like without Morgan, I
You
might
all
not
right?
be sitting right here talking to you about anything right now. Who knows? But
I met
I
my son's
definitely
father at Morgan too.
so, so I mean there we go. But pretty much kind of like going through the things and like pretty much my mother and my sister helped me with him along. So I wasn't just me and him in a cardboard box or nothing like that. But
Hmm.
I had my mother and my sister to help me out, and I mean I went from everything to like getting custody of my son, um, child support. I actually received child support. I still do. It's nothing to write
Wow.
home about, but yeah, like I went through all of that, and I never forget like when I first graduated.
Hmm.
And like I was dealing with a couple friends at Morgan, and
Hmm.
I'm like, yeah, I got a kid on the way. We can't. Nah, I ain't trying to. I don't want to do that with you. You daddy now. And it went from that to like a lot of my women friends that I had in school. Like once they found out I had a kid, it was like the scarlet letter. It was like, oh, stay away.
I can
So
imagine.
I'm like, damn, like it's like that. Like I'm not baby daddy. Like I really like I'm over the stove like Cuban links, like sterilizing bottles, and I'm carrying a baby carrier with me and all of that, and that's how you act. But as he got older, I noticed like I take him to the mall with me, and I'm like, oh my God, that's your son. He's with you. That's so cute. So the perception started to change, and then I started to like just talk to like mutual acquaintances and people that I knew, and they were like, wow, I've never seen anybody that like is always with their kid, always with
Hmm.
their son. Like, how did this happen? How and I'm just like, it just happened. Like I just like I stepped up and that was it. Like I didn't think twice about it. But as I traveled through life, I found out that a lot of people reacted like how you did, where they're not really used to seeing that. And I'm like, all right,
You said
I've
acting
kind of
like I did.
no. I'm
Reacted.
saying reacting
Oh,
as far as like saying like, wow, like I don't know too
I'm
many
gonna say,
guys
what did
that.
I do?
No, not like that, not like that. I mean like reacting as far as saying like I don't see a lot of guys that are
Oh
like
yeah.
single
I
dads.
mean, I don't think it's I don't think it's popularized like that. I mean, I do know a lot of men who, certain circumstances happen and they have their child with them. It's in the best interest of the
Right,
child to be with the father. And that's always a red flag, especially like for example, if I met you for the first time and you tell me, well, I have full custody of my son, the first thing that goes off in a lot of women mind is, okay, well, what's wrong with his mother? You understand what
yeah,
I'm saying? So it makes you want to kind of dig in a lot more deeper because it's uncommon. But it's not
right,
uncommon. It just doesn't, a lot of men don't really talk about it, like you said.
right,
I think the perspective is for single mothers, like, for example, when I graduated from Morgan, I had my daughter, like, maybe I got pregnant maybe a few months later. And
hmm,
then for me, I had my family to support me, but then I went out and moved out on my own. So it was just me and my daughter by myself. So single
right,
father stories sound a little different because people are more inclined to kind of like help, especially with the nurturing area for a father and a child. So,
right.
I could probably understand, especially back then, like while a lot of people, if you partying and hanging out, I don't really see me trying to like come help your son read bedtime story at night. That don't really seem like a good time. It really seems
Yeah.
very, you know what I'm saying? Not at a young age.
Right,
Or
right.
the older woman, of course. Hey, bring the kids. As a young girl, I probably would have been like, wow, it's a lot of
Yeah.
responsibility.
Right. And I got a lot of that, but as time went forward, as things kind of went along, I started kind of like helping other people. Like I ran into some other dudes that's like, yo, I got my kid, like my baby mother's tripping or whatever, like I'm trying to get custody. What can I do? And I started like, all right, here's the lawyer I use. Like these are some of the steps I took. This is what you got to watch out for. And I started seeing that. And I'm like, yo, it's a lot of dudes out here, but like you said, it's more like under the radar.
Right.
So I kind of, with the book, it was a combination of me always loving reading to my kids and books with rhyming words and stuff like that. And seeing characters that didn't look like us. It was always either white characters or it was like animal or just fictional, like whatever
Right.
in Dr. Seuss. It was never no black people. And they didn't talk like us. They didn't look like us. They didn't deal with what we dealt with. But I also thought about it. I'm like, I never see any black men in these books. So I kind of took those two things, and I'm like, I have experience of being a father, being a black man, and all of that. So I put all of that together, and that's kind of where I came up with the whole Mr. Powers thing.
I'm gonna ask you to do me a favor because I don't want you to, because I want everybody to go out and get the book. But can
Uh-huh.
you just read us one page out of the book?
All right.
Pick a random page. It don't have to be from the
Okay. A
beginning
random page.
because you gotta buy the book to figure out where he read at.
Yeah. All right. So, I'm gonna just go with one in volume one. So he went in Tracy's room, lifted up the bed, saw a small body with a mop top head, rolling in the dirt with a hole in his shirt, jumped up really quick, hit his head, said it hurt. And that's just,
And so that's the rhyme. Okay, so
yeah.
so how long did it take you to write this book? Because children's books is an art. That's definitely an art because you have to be able to grab the young reader.
So you want the writing portion or how long it took me to put it out?
The writing portion.
Um, Maybe about a month or two.
Because you're self-taught, correct?
Yeah. Because honestly, I used to rap, and
Okay.
for me, like writing these books is like writing raps. It's like 4 bars a page, pretty much. So like that part is easy to me. Like I don't have the normal story of everybody else writing. Like writing these books is easy to me. It's everything else.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I write
it's
so
all the other stuff.
bad. It would take me forever to write a book. And I write how I talk. So God only knows what the hell. Everybody be like, what did she say right here? And so how long did it take as far as like the production part of the book?
Well, it took me 6 months from like actually starting writing exercises to like fully getting it edited and all of that. But then came the actual, okay, am I going to shop this to a company?
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to, try to get a book deal and all of that? And I will say I finished writing the book in like the summer of 2015.
Okay.
It didn't actually come out until spring of 2017.
Okay.
Because that was kind of like the process of building my own publishing company after getting kind of like ignored by publishing companies that I reached out to. Talking to illustrators that wanted like $10,000 and stuff like that just for the illustrations, and I'm like, that's my entire book budget right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just starting out. I didn't have 10,000 just to pay for pictures when I still gotta print, get the books printed and pressed out and all of that. Just to meeting with my boy that I went to high school with and kind of giving him my idea and say like, yo, we could do this like a rapper and a DJ. Like, yo,
Okay.
I do the words, you do the pictures, we put it together. It'd be like Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince or whatever rapper and DJ, Eric B and Rakim, whatever you could think of. But that was kind of how I approached it. But for him, it was his first time ever doing a children's book. So there was a process. Like he does art and all of that stuff, on his own. But this was his first time ever doing a book. So we kind of had to like grow through that entire process together. So that process took a little bit of a little bit under 2 years.
So you said you have your own publishing company now,
Yes, yes, I have my own
and
publishing company, Empower Publishing. I've actually started, like I got a meeting tomorrow. I had one today. I've been taking meetings as far as like helping other black authors and black writers put their stories out. Like I kind of went through the whole process, so I know how to do it. So I can either help you do it and put it out for you, or I can walk you through the process where you can create your own publishing company.
so how transparent are you? Because sometimes people become gatekeepers. Are you a gatekeeper, or are you gonna really let the
Absolutely not.
person know
Nah,
what
nah,
they
nah.
need to
Like
do?
I'll give you everything. Like I'm not one of them people that like I own the rights to your stuff. Listen, your creation is 100% yours. Like it ain't no like keeping your masters and all of that. No, no, all of that's yours. I just wanna. The thing is, I just wanna help out people. I just wanna let our stories get told because one of the things one of my buddies that's an author as well. He had a stat. I wish I remember the exact numbers, but as far as black and brown faces in books, the category like the very first one is white characters. The second
Hmm.
one is like animals.
Hmm.
Then third or fourth down the line is black and brown people. So
Right.
we gotta change that because that's not the way that the world looks. And we should be represented more than animals and fictional characters are in children's books.
Right.
So I just want to help with that.
And so, what's the overall goal with the book? Are you gonna come out with multiple volumes, or?
So I have to. I'm already working on volume three. My plan is to do at least 10 volumes. I got the ideas for at least the next 7 books.
Oh
But
wow.
my goal is to get it to turn it into a children's series, like a cartoon, some type of animation as well. Um, I'm also looking at other avenues, maybe getting like some type of licensing deal or something like that. But those things are a little bit further down the line. But the next up is definitely these next couple volumes that I'm working on.
Okay. 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 So, with everything that's going on, like, did you have more time, like, to do more things as far as when it came down to your own publishing? Because you have a regular 9 to 5, and then you also
Mhm.
have your own business that you build up from the ground up. Like, did COVID change, like, shift your perspective in any type of way?
Well, honestly, like COVID had me really sit back and think because I don't know if you remember, but last year it was like, oh, if you don't start a business, if you're not making $1 million plan in this time, then you're a failure. You know what I did during COVID? Nothing. Because you want to know why? It was the first time that I got to sit still.
I agree.
Because since 2015, I've literally been moving nonstop. Right
Hmm.
before COVID hit, I was supposed to go to LA in April. Then I was supposed to go to Chicago in June, and I was going all over the place.
Right.
But like for a while, I was kind of feeling guilty, like, oh man, I could be done pumped out 2 or 3 more books by now. But for me, it's not about pumping them out just to pump them out. It's about the inspiration. It's like I really got to feel it. Like
Hmm.
I don't want to just put something out just to say I did it because I had time during the pandemic. So for me, what it allowed me to do is it allowed me to kind of like take time and just breathe for a second, figure out what I wanted to do next, get some paperwork and some stuff right that wasn't 100% how I wanted it to be. And it just put everything into perspective for me. And I kind of didn't really start writing anything else until like December of 2020.
That's fair. I think that's fair. I think that I don't even know where that came from. I don't even know why people started to do that. The whole like you're not working hard enough, like you should be doing this, you should be doing that. I don't know why people felt like that. There was like there's a global pandemic happening and we couldn't even go outside.
Right. You know what I think it is? Two things. I think it's social media, and I also think that it was people that don't really work that hard in general. Because like I don't say it often, but I don't know too many people that do more than me just on a regular day-to-day basis. So, and
I
I'm
do.
not saying that.
I'm gonna say I do, and I'm gonna
Well,
challenge you on that
yeah,
one.
yeah,
I'm gonna
no,
say
well,
I
that's
do.
something. Well, we already said we never really spoke to fully know each other, but
Right.
because I'm also a personal trainer too. So, like, I'm getting up at 5 in the morning. Like my day yesterday, I get up yesterday. I got a client at 5 in the morning. I got
Hmm.
clients throughout the day. I'm still doing my regular 9 to 5. I got 3 kids, got a wife, all of that. On
You
top
got
of that,
multiple strings of income. You out here
oh
getting to
yeah,
the bag in every which
oh
kind of way you can,
yeah,
huh?
you got to. And I'm trying to teach my kids 7 streams. That's the goal. 7 streams of income. But like my night ended with me driving back from PA after dropping my son off to PA. My night ended at about 11:45 last night, and that's just one day. So for me, when I saw people on social media saying that, I'm like, all right, that's cool for y'all that don't really do that much.
Right.
But like, yo, there's a chance for me to actually sit down and chill and kind of like regroup for a change. Not to say just chill like I just chilled and did nothing, but like it was a chance for me to kind of like put things in perspective and to regroup and figure out what the next things I want to do. You know what they are.
No, I definitely agree with that. I believe my son was only 6 months when the quarantine first happened. So I really was like wasn't grateful that we was in a pandemic, but like happy that I had a place of my own so I could just kind of be in peace for a little bit. I felt like I was like running in place, like running in place. Like I just couldn't, matter of fact, I couldn't catch my breath.
Right,
That's what I felt
right.
like. I couldn't catch my breath. So, I mean, now I don't know. I don't know what the world is going to look like once they actually lift these masks off because people are not really wearing them like that anyway. But
Right.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't even really know. Did anybody like try to like persuade you not to write a book? Like, did you tell people like, yo, I'm about to write this book? Did anybody discourage you?
Well, you know what? It wasn't like in the process of writing, but I know when I had already had the book written, I went to a couple of local bookstores,
Hmm.
and I had a lady at a local bookstore tell me, "Hey, honestly, unless you're with a major publishing company, you're just pretty much just doing this on your own. Like, it's not really going to go that far. Like, you won't really, reach people. You'll just pretty much be doing it to say that you did it. Like, unless you're with a major publishing company, it's kind of like you're just running in a hamster wheel." And I took that, and it could have been discouraging, but I'm like, oh, she doesn't know hustlers.
Right.
That's not how it works. Like, I grew up watching Master P. I grew up watching Hove and all of these other people that had all of these doors shut, and they just created their own doors. So
Right.
I looked at that as like,
Why did she
I
shit
will,
on your book like that? Like, I mean,
because
like
she
she
ain't
tried to shit on your book.
because she ain't from where we from. That's why. She's not from. She doesn't understand it. She's from a position where everything's been given to her,
Okay.
and if it's given to you by one of these companies, while one of these corporations, then it's validation. But if it's not
So she
given
was
to
one
you,
of these.
yes,
Not one of
and
these. Okay, I
right,
was
right,
making
right,
sure.
right,
I wanted
right,
to be
right.
clear because I'm like, why she shit on your book like that?
Right, right. And the thing is, my books are in stores all across the country. I've been all across the country with a book that I wrote myself, that I funded myself. I didn't ask nobody for no money. I did everything myself, and it's been going great. And the thing is, it's only going to get better. So when I saw that, it was early on for me, and I could have took that as like, something that would have been really discouraging, but I looked at it as motivation. I'm like, oh,
Right.
she just doesn't know.
That's unfortunate. But you know what? The truth of the matter is now you have a black owned business, a book full of black characters for us, for us by us. Basically,
Hmm.
that's what you got going on. And I think too often, I mean, I don't even know what it is. Sometimes we just kind of go the route that we think is the best route to kind of get our stuff where it needs to go. And sometimes that's really not even the best route at all. That's effed up that she really just tried to shit on your book.
Yeah, but
Do you ever went? Did you ever go back to that bookstore?
nah, I wouldn't even allow you the dignity of having my book there. Like I,
Well, I
I
wouldn't.
go,
You
I
can't
go,
have the book, but you know.
I'm gonna go where I'm wanted. I'm gonna go where
Right.
I'm wanted. I'm always gonna go where I'm wanted. And the thing is, like I said, I've been before the pandemic hit. I touched down in LA. I'm reaching black and brown kids out there that would have never known about me had I
Right.
not went and did the opposite of what she told me. Like
Right.
I've been everywhere. I've been all across the country. I've been everywhere, and I've had nothing but positive feedback. So I must be doing something right.
And how important is it for you to leave a legacy? You say you have three children, right?
Yes,
So what are the genders of those three children? So I know you have an older son.
yes. So my son will be 16 on June 7th. My daughter will be 10 on June the 1st. and my youngest son will be 5 on August the 26th.
Okay, so you got two
And
boys and a girl.
yep.
And
So
how important is it that you leave a legacy for your family?
I mean, honestly, it's very important because the way that I think, I'm like 100% certain that I'm not always going to be here. So I'm just trying to pour in as much as I can to them while I'm still here. And I mean, especially with my oldest son, because the one thing that I know is when I was his age, I didn't have anybody telling me right from wrong, telling me what to do, what not to do, how to move, and just telling me about life. I had to pick up a lot of things on my own. I learned pretty much learned how to be a man from my mother.
Mm.
So it's like he doesn't have to deal with that. So I'm going to give him everything I know, not only just being a man, but just being being a functioning human being in this society that we live in. So I also try to do the same thing with my younger kids as well. Of course, it's on a different level, but it's very important to me. I'm teaching them, like, my daughter's an artist, so we getting ready to get her LLC and get her started so she can start selling her art and make money.
Come
My
on,
son,
fish string of income. They go to the next one
listen,
right there. You putting the kids to work. Look at you.
listen. But the thing is, it's like we got it. We got the talent. Like, we, as in us as a people, we have
Right.
the talent. We have something special. So we gotta tap into whatever our unique talent is, whatever our gifts are. Because everything's not always a talent. Sometimes you just have a gift. Tap into what those gifts are and find out a way that you can turn that into generational wealth. Because that's what I'm leaning towards. That's what I'm trying to build.
Okay, so where can we get the book from? Because I know that I saw it was on Amazon, but where can we
Yes.
purchase the book at?
So I'm
And
I'm glad you said Amazon, because Amazon is great. Shout out to them. They got Prime and all of that. But Amazon's a $1 billion company. I'm a small
isn't
business.
it a trillion?
Yeah, it's something. It's more than what mine is right now. But you can get the books at weareteampowers.com. That's my website, and I'll
Hold on, let me go ahead and pin it.
okay. It's weareteampowers.com.
Hold on, www dot we are team power.
.com.
So it's no longer on Amazon, or is
No,
it?
it's still on Amazon, but see, here's the difference. Like, a lot of times when people buy it on Amazon, like, I had somebody hit me up. They was like, "Hey, I bought my books on Amazon. I didn't get them yet." I'm like, I you might have to hit Jeff Bezos. I don't know, because I don't control that. Like,
Right.
it literally comes directly from them. I get pennies in the dollar on that, pennies off the dollar from that.
Okay.
And I mean, it's good for visibility, but when you order the books directly from me, I see the profit directly. But not only that, I'm able to sign the books, personalize the books to whoever the kids the books are going to. I send them a couple extra things. It's just more personal. I can see to it that the book leaves from my hands to your house, and like, I'm able to add a personal touch and all of that. So it's a lot different when you're dealing with Amazon versus, it's pretty much direct to consumer. It's direct to consumer
So
versus using a larger corporation.
so I have a friend. He's
Mhm.
in Cali. He wrote a book, but it's
Mhm.
not in print form yet.
Okay.
So is it okay if I send him over your information so that he can get in touch with you? I think he already has like everything he needs to have already, but I know that he was doing like a funding to kind of get the funding for the
Mhm.
book. So if I pass his information, he's I think he's in California, but I'm not sure if he's
Mhm.
in the Bay. It's something about the Bay. I got to get that out of my head. Something is in the Bay that I have to go see because I can't get the Bay out of my head. Either he's in I think he's in like Los Angeles, San Francisco. I'm gonna get it right, but he
Okay.
has a book, Black Man, Black book. It's about black children. It's
Oh,
a kid's
absolutely.
book, and he has rhymes in the book as well.
Okay.
He rhymes inside the book as well. So
Okay.
I want to link you two guys together because you already got your book to the stage where you need to get, and he's
Mhm.
getting his book to the stage that it needs to get. So
Yeah,
I hope that
I
I
could
can kind
definitely
of
help him
link
out.
you together.
And
Oh,
and one thing I could give you, a tip that I could give you now for him, like, if he's looking for the funding to get it out, pre-orders are a good option. That's what I did the first go round. Like, I did pre-orders.
you are smart.
Yeah. So what
You are
happens is, you're
smart.
not asking anybody for money. You get the money so that you can afford to actually produce the product. But the people that have supported you, they aren't just blindly giving you money. Like you're giving them
Okay.
something in return. So pre-orders are
So
a good option.
pre-orders.
Hmm.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and hit them up. So lastly, I always ask all my guests to leave a gem, but you dropped so many. But if you have one more that you kind of like squeeze out for me, that'll be great. Like somebody to take away.
So you know what? I'll give you one from the book, and this is called The Power's Point.
Okay, go
And
ahead.
I'll give you the one from Volume 2, The Snack Attack, because you know health is wealth and all of that. So
Okay.
The Power's Point says, it's a lot more to life than candy, cookies, and pies. Eat healthy. Drink water. Don't forget to exercise.
So
Stay
you're just gonna
active.
leave us
No,
with
no, no,
that?
no, 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 no. I'm gonna finish. Stay active. Then you'll have room for a treat. Remember, eat to live. Don't live to eat. And
See, you was a poet.
yeah, I know a little something about a little something.
You was a poet. Okay. Well, I want to thank you for coming on. You know what I mean? I'm like you said, nobody worked as hard as you. You did a lot, and you still showed up. I
Yeah,
saw you
yeah,
training earlier today too, and you still
yeah,
showed
yeah,
up,
yeah,
and
yeah,
you was
yeah.
on time. I love a man of his words. I wanted to
Yeah.
say thank you. I
Oh,
really
thank you.
appreciate you showing me alumni love and you coming on my show, talking to my audience here. People are definitely gonna go buy and support your book. I'm quite sure my audience has kids. Everybody wants to go ahead and have books in their house that their children can relate to. So I just want to say thank you again for coming on. Thank you to everybody else that tuned in. Make sure you guys go ahead and go to www.weareteenpowers.com and go ahead and order the book. Thank you so
Thanks
much,
for
Stephen.
having
I
me.
appreciate you. Good
Thank
night,
you. I
everybody.
appreciate it. All right, see ya.